Welcome back, handsome viewers. It's Voidhammer time, and we're going to jump straight into the Rogue Trader playthrough that I've been sort of hyping up on my channel for the last 2 videos, I guess. Maybe one video. I can't remember. I'm so excited. Today's actually Warhammer Day. I need to go pop into my local Warhammer shop. I want to see if I can score any free stuff. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's begin. Look at this beautiful art. I'm so excited. I don't know who these companions are. I know Argenta, and that's about it. I've never passed the prologue. We're going to go through character creation now. And we're going to have the most exciting, most awesome, and just the best Rogue Trader playthrough that's ever existed on YouTube. I don't know if that's a... You know, if there are bigger shoes to fill out there, but I'm going to do this my way. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm very, very happy that you've pulled in to join me on this epic real space warp adventure. Let's see. Take up the mantle of a rogue trader, the scion of an ancient dynasty of daring privateers that reign over their trade protectorate and explore the fringes of the known galaxy. What is a scion? A scion, I believe, I looked up this word when I played Elden Ring, because there were monsters, some kind of mob in Elden Ring were called scions, and it's like an offshoot of like a branch or something. So it was all very thematic with the Erd tree and all that kind of good stuff. So a scion, I believe it just means like noble heir or noble like son or daughter, that type of thing. So darkness looms over the bloodline of Von Valencius as it faces multiple threats from within its own ranks and without, as countless enemies seek to destroy the most daring and brave agents of humanity. It is up to you to hold the reins of this shattered protectorate and forge a new path for the Von Valencius dynasty, currently finding itself in a vortex of wars, intrigues, calamities, and heresy. The stakes are high and rise even higher as you cross paths with terrifyingly powerful and ambitious adversaries in the darkness of the Corrodus expanse. And then we've got some DLC stuff here. I'm not going to read that because I don't want to spoil anything. And we're going to go through character creation now. Before that, we've got to decide on difficulty. That's a lie. I've decided on difficulty. We're going to go for unfair, because I'm a masochist. I am not familiar with the Rogue Finder system. I've played through the prologue, and I've done a little bit of reading on the build and stuff that I want to do. Not too deep into it, like literally the first 3-4 levels. I'm winging all of this stuff. So I have played through the prologue. We did a car playthrough. I remember the elements from that. So for all intents and purposes, this is a blind playthrough except for the prologue, right? And I've got my character concept in mind. So we're going to go unfair. If I fail miserably, which is highly likely, I might drop it down a bit, but we'll see how it goes. Excuse me. I also want to go for the Grim Darkness achievement because this is sick. This is basically their like Iron Man playthrough mode where you only one save. You can't scum save, all that type of stuff. So if games have this option, I turn it on. We play it. We play the game. I feel like if you go down to these sort of easier difficulty levels in most games, you don't need to engage with the mechanics of the game, right? So hopefully this forces us to be a better gamer. I'm excited. Let's go. Choosing this difficulty is not recommended for players not already familiar with Rogue Trader's system as well as its implementation in this game. Do you confirm your choice? I do. Get off my tits. Excuse me as I take a sip of coffee. Alright, so these are pre-mades. We're going to go for our custom character. Create your very own Rogue Trader from scratch. The detailed customization process allows you to choose who your character was before beginning your adventure. With a wide variety of options, you can determine their appearance, their characteristics, and their combat capabilities. I am 100% going for an Astra Militarum Commander, and I like this portrait. We're going to go with that guy. But I've actually got a custom portrait, which I've made. I'll throw up some B-roll. So no AI generated art here. We don't believe in abominable intelligences. I've photoshopped this together the way the God Emperor intended, because I like the concept of having a pirate hat. And the only starting class that got that was the Navy officer. So You know, I know people are super pedantic when it comes to their character customizations and characterizations. I'm no different. I want what I want, and we'll be using the redress mod to get that hat on our character in-game. The way the God Emperor intended. Okay, we're going to go for a big boy, because this is like, you know, he's an old, gruffled, if that's even a word, military commander. I know the presets that I kind of want to make him look like. We'll do that. We'll get some brown in there. He's going to be bold. That beard is good. That brown is good. Look at this man. What a man. I like the face. We get some tattoos. And this guy's a very, you know, he's a very dogmatic, prim and proper, you know, for the Emperor kind of commander, right? So we're going to have some tattoos. We're going to get some Imperial Aquilas. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I don't know how it's pronounced in Warhammer, at least in what I believe is High Gothic. That's the other thing I wanted to talk about was I'm not the most well-versed in Warhammer lore, and I'm taking this game as an opportunity to just experience the lore, you know, instead of just like consuming a lore YouTube video and just passively consuming you know, all the wonderful things that this universe has to offer. You know, I started reading Eisenhorn, which I'm enjoying thoroughly so far. And yeah, I want to just immerse myself. I think a lot of people are going on huge Warhammer overdoses lately. I think I could be wrong. I know a lot of people are upset about the state of Warhammer, but I am so excited to dive into this universe and get totally immersed. Is that what we want? Do we want a red thingy on the side of his head? I don't know. Maybe that's too much augmentation. The other sort of idea that I've got for this character is we are that's one. Where's two? Okay, we're gonna go for that because his brain. This guy's an Imperial lore guy, right? He realized so upon becoming a rogue trader, he realized, oh, I don't have to be a commander anymore. I don't have to die for the God Emperor in a war. I'm going to become a rogue trader, and excuse me. And he's going to fulfill his you know, his deepest, darkest desire of becoming a lore nerd, right? So that's a caveat of this playthrough. They don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance. Caveat of this playthrough is that anytime we ever get the option to get more lore, Imperium or lore Xenos or lore, I don't know what the other one is, we're going to take it. We're going to get as much lore as we can. And yeah, I consider myself somebody who knows just enough about the lore to be dangerous, but not enough to be an expert. What does that mean? I don't know. What does it mean? You guys will see. I will generate my own facts about the Warhammer universe that I think are correct, right? Okay, Death World. So I really wanted to do a Hive World. We'll go through these because this, you know, these origin worlds are fascinating little bits of Warhammer information, right? So, Death World. On Death Worlds, the plants, beasts, and sometimes even the environment itself take aggressive and destructive forms inimical to human life. Whilst exceptionally difficult to colonize, many Death Worlds possess valuable resources that require an outpost or other human presence upon the planet's surface to harvest. These harsh environments result in some of the hardiest and most resilient populations in the galaxy. Those tested and found wanting die young. Cool, so this guy, he's like a leader, he's a commander type guy, so we want a lot of fellowship, and then I want some intelligence to boost my lore skills, because, you know, we're going to be doing as much story beats as possible. I don't want to miss out on that type of stuff. So whenever there's like a lore check, I want to be able to pass it. So Deathworld's not for us. Voidborn. Voidborn are humans birthed in the belly of a void vessel or aboard an ancient orbital satellite. Those who have lived their lives on void ships become inured. I don't know what that word means. What does inured mean? Past tense, inured. Accustomed, someone to something, especially something unpleasant. Okay, so you become used to something that is not lacquer, that is not great, that is not cool. To some extent due to their reality-altering process of warp travel and to living in low or zero gravity environments. In many cases, their features are drawn and their skin pallid. They may even have minor deformities or strangeness to their speech, gait, or general appearance that sets them apart from others. These guys are very willpowery and intelligence, which we like. I think willpower is a pretty good stat in terms of your combat resource. I think it literally determines your resolve or something. I could be wrong. Willpower and flexibility to withstand the horrors of the warp, terrors of space, and dreadful opponents that are bound to encounter in the Cronus Expanse. High willpower allows characters to exert control over a crowd or interrogate a heretic. Okay, so it's not got too much to do with resolve. Yeah, so Voidborn, not for us. I did like the idea of a hive welder. The idea that this guy in his distant past, he rose above the insurmountable odds of what it is to be, existing in a hive world, one of untold billions, in the most harshest and worst conditions imaginable, and somehow he rose to the ranks and became a commander. But I don't know, I think Imperial world is just so much more fitting. But yeah, a hive world's population is so dense that great swaths of the surface of the world are frequently covered in gargantuan cities bejeweled with towering spires that pierce the atmosphere. Hive worlds are vital to the welfare of the Imperium and are the beating heart of its economy and war machine. They produce munitions for the Emperor's armies and vast manufactories, mine valuable minerals and refine fuel for their Imperial Navy. Innumerable regiments of the Astra Militarum are raised from their massive populations as well. So yeah, I mean, that can't I guess they're talking about the average Imperial Guardsman, not commanders. I guess that typically come from more noble stock amongst the Empire, the Imperium. Forge World. Forge Worlds are the domain. Oh, the reason why is because they get the Fellowship bonus, which is weird because Fellowship's kind of like Charisma. You wouldn't expect, it's like, this is like the, if this was D&D, this is the street urchin origin, you know what I mean? And they're getting Charisma, right, which is Fellowship. But I guess, in this context, it makes sense. Anyway, Forge World. Forge worlds are the domain of the Adeptus Mechanicus, entire planets ceded to the demands of vast macro industries. Each is a manufacturing super complex of unimaginable capacity and power. Over the millennia, different Forge worlds have become especially renowned for their philosophies or ways of war. These are often colored by the technologies they specialize in manufacturing. The bulk of a Forge world's population is utilized as a labor force, whilst the fortunate few may be inducted into the ranks of the Adeptus Mechanicus itself. Ah, okay, cool. I don't know that that's where the Adeptus Mechanicus get their get more people from. That's pretty cool. Adeptus Mechanicus, of course, being the techno-savvy, not indoctrinated, but like they believe in the machine god and the Omnisire, and they every bolter rifle, every las gun, every piece of equipment in the Imperium, is sort of blessed and maintained and exalted by these technology worshipping cultists. They are super cool. They are very, very cool. For those of you who might be wondering, I recently started an army. Well, not started an army. I got my first Warhammer pack as a gift from my wife for my birthday, and it was the Khorne Berserkers. So that's what I'm currently painting, and I'm having a lot of fun. It's the first time I've ever done it, and I'm enjoying the crap out of it, man. Okay, so I think we're going to be Imperial World. What is an Imperial Worlder? An Imperial World is one of the million planets united by the belief in the immortal God Emperor. Hailing from hyper-technological societies to grimy feudal populations, the inhabitants of countless worlds offer fealty and devotion to the master of humanity and the Imperial Creed, espoused by his servants. The designation Imperial World encompasses a vast array of wholly dissimilar worlds that are, nevertheless, part of the Imperium. Right, so the reason why we're going for this is we get Humanity's Finest is going to let us take another 10 extra points in Fellowship, which is, one of the primary attributes that this guy's going to use to do buffs and make the party stronger. And then this kind of stuff, which, we'll go through that as we level. And then lastly, we have a Fortress World. I'm actually not too familiar with Fortress Worlds. What is a Fortress World? Fortress Worlds are planets where the entire populace is immersed in warfare. They constantly train for the day that they may be called upon to defend the Imperium. A charge they solemnly uphold. Fortress Worlds are established as bulwarks against the enemy. Every citizen is a soldier, trained to fight from the moment they can handle a weapon. Okay, cool. So that's like, you want to be a warrior? Oh, that's interesting. I'd expect it to be like strength or something. Never stop shooting. Each time a fortress build character kills an enemy, they gain +10 stacks of never stop shooting. At the start of their turn, there is a stacks of never stop shooting % chance that the first attack this round will cost 0. Oh, okay, so it's just like literally never stop shooting. Perpetual action points. Okay, so that's not us. We're an Imperial Worlder. Some of these I think are pretty apt for our character, but we'll get into that later. We're going to go with Fellowship as our Imperial World bonus. So +10 to Fellowship. This represents a character's ability to interact with other creatures, to deceive, charm, or befriend them. High Fellowship will help a character find a way to approach a gathering of unsociable servants or to effortlessly make deals with treacherous merchants. It also affects the persuasion, coercion, and commerce skills. So yeah, being a commander, this makes sense. And that's it. We're going Astra Militarum Commander. No ifs or buts about it. The Astra Militarum, commonly known as the Imperial Guard, is the primary fighting force of the Imperium and the first line of defense from the myriad threats that endanger the existence of humanity in the 41st millennium. You have served as one of the commanders of an Astra Militarum regiment, commanding thousands and winning battles in the name of the God Emperor. It's so cool. It's like your character, like, you know, in RPG X, you are typically like a nobody, and that's that hero's journey. In this, you're already like an accomplished dude, right? You've already done like tons of stuff. Your character, you know, it's not about you and your party, it's about you and this entire dynasty that you sort of hold at your beck and call as a rogue trader, right? And that's just, I think it just speaks to the scale of 40k. You know, it's not just about the individual, it's about entire factions, if that makes sense. Alright, so we're getting regimental tactics, ballistic skill, so we can shoot good. Fellowship, you know, extra charisma type stuff to command our troops or our party members. Some athletics and coercion as skill modifiers. Charismatic modifiers. Is this just a flat +5, or is it giving us like a better chance to, you know, the word modifier here, is that saying that we get a bonus when that skill is checked? I wonder. Unsure. And then these are our talents that we'll unlock down the line. We're not going to stress too much about that right now. Our triumph. So this is like, I love this because not many RPGs do this these days, where it's like you're forced to take a boon and a like a buff and a debuff, right? Some RPGs I've played with friends in the past, which have been the best experiences that I've ever had RPG-wise, tabletop RPG-wise, is when you've got it like, you know, we'll typically roll dice to see how many bad things happen to you and how bad those things are. You know, we had a friend whose character was like an orc who lost his arm, and he had to live with that character, right? And it was one of the best characters he's ever played. So we're going to go for our triumph, Apex of Brilliance. Through reforms and leadership, you restored a broken Imperial Guard regiment to its former martial glory. Very apt for our Astra Militarum Commander, and it gives us Law Imperium, which is the stat that we're going to be like it's just a caveat that I want to add to this playthrough, because we're going to become a Law Master one day. Yeah, I guess that's it, right? So that's cool. Now our Darkest Hour, this is a negative thing that we've got to take. Obviously the negatives here aren't terrible. You know, you can't have a character that's like lost an arm, or, you know, gets -10 to some stat, get -5 to some stat. So we're gonna kind of min-max this, and we're gonna take Medicaid because I don't think it's that important for us. So the Shadow of Torment. Captured by heretics, you suffered unbearable torture at the hands of humanity's enemies. Cool, very straightforward. -10 Medicaid, which is basically just your ability to pass healing checks, I guess. Class-wise, they call them archetypes. We are 100% going for an officer. Officers use their willpower and fellowship to improve the combat capabilities of their allies, turning them into even greater threats on the battlefield. Core focus, extra turns, single target buffs, rescuing allies, and momentum. So that is what we're going to be all about. Fellowship and willpower are our recommended characteristics, and the recommended skills are commerce and persuasion. But we're going to go for some of that juicy lore. Happy with that. After this, we'll probably go down. I have had a look at this whole thing, not too deeply. I'm quite fresh to this game. Excuse me, to be honest, I don't even think we're going to make it past the prologue without dying on unfair mode. But we'll see how it goes. I kind of want to go for Grand Strategist, which is probably where we'll end up leveling once we get there, if we get there. because it seems like a natural, organic evolution of the Astro Militarum Commander from Officer to Grand Strategist to Exemplar, whatever that is. And I'm super happy with that. Off we go to assign 30 points to where we want. So, Fellowship, the way this game works, I believe, is whenever a skill says, oh, take your Fellowship bonus, it's the tens column. So, if your skill says, cool, take, do 5% Fellowship bonus damage, right? Your Fellowship bonus is the tens column, so you'll get 5, right? So, correct me if I'm wrong. So, we want Fellowship. We want Intelligence, because we want to be a smart boy, so we'll get that up to 40. I don't know how important Perception is. I believe the older version, the previous 1.5 version of the Astro Militarum Commander needed Perception to do some stuff, but they've since moved that into Fellowship, I think. So we're not going to stress too much about Perception. Willpower seems super important. All this stuff about talking about resisting the warp and heresy and stuff, I don't know how much we should invest in that though, but it'll be an easy win to get that 5 into there and get a 40 on ballistic skill, so we're doing better damage, which I guess is just, it's worth the investment, because then we can still get another single characteristic or skill or whatever to a 40, right? A flat 40. So do we do willpower or do we do perception? What a character perceives their surroundings. Characters with high perception can pick out a stray bolter shell casing between the day-to-day morass of an underhive, or even tell when someone has been deceitful. It also affects the awareness skill and reduces enemy dodge chance against characters' attacks. So it does help you hit more, but we're not going to be hitting that much. While I do like the rest of it, I don't think our character's, he's not the most astute detective type person, so I think it's willpower. I think that's what we go for. Ability to withstand the horrors of the warp. Now bound to counter expense. It also increases the chances of resisting negative mental effects and psychic powers. It seems pretty important. Why not strength over that? Athletic skill, melee damage, no. Is it perception or willpower? I think we're going for willpower. It just seems to make sense. Let's have a quick look here. If we look at the archetype for officer. Officers use their willpower. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna get that bonus into willpower. I think that's the way to go. And I think we're done there. Cool. Time for our ship. I am going to stick to the default. I want the vanilla experience. This is from the Digital Deluxe Edition, I believe. And as you know, all good ships have a name. So I decided to call this one the Abyss. Oh, that's not how you spell that. Abysstrix Malii Tempus. Those of you who know my funny high Gothic pig Latin here might be able to recognize the joke I'm so desperately trying to make with the ship name. The Abysstrix Malii Tempus. Alright guys, I think that brings... Oh wait, well, let's read this. The Sword Class Frigate. The Sword Class Frigate is a classic void ship design proven in thousands of battles, combining decent firepower, high speed, and respectable survivability. Estimated dimensions, 1.6 kilometers in length, 0.3 kilometers a beam, I think that's the width. At the fins, a beam at the fins. Oh wait, it's at the height. Estimated tonnage, 6 megatons approximately. Estimated number of souls, 26,000 people live aboard this void ship. So like, you're not just a guy, you're a big guy with big plans and big dreams and a big protectorate to protectorate, right? The Von Valentius flagship. What's a flagship? You know what I love about this game? Your tooltips have tooltips, right? If you go... Let's go, yeah. So this is the tooltip for willpower. The willpower tooltip has tooltips. The tooltip for the tooltip of willpower has tooltips. And it's just... the game is tooltips all the way down. Oh, you gotta love it, man. This is why people get so much value out of games like this over... Don't get me wrong, I enjoy games like Battlefield and stuff every now and then, but nothing lets you sink your teeth into, and extract value out of a game like this, right? Where were we? So what's a flagship? The Rogue Trader's personal ship. This is the pride of the Von Valentius dynasty. It carries the Lord Captain from one world to another, laying waste to all who dare stand in his, his way. A lot of talking, not enough drinking. Okay. Every system aboard this frigate has been tried and tested in innumerable engagements. Its weapons and turrets deliver hard-hitting volleys with pinpoint accuracy. Its plasma drives are rugged yet reliable in extreme conditions. The flagship's size and maneuverability are perfect for pursuing smaller Foster raiders and for hunting the countless pirates, Xenos, and heretics in the Coronis Expanse. Numerous Von Valencius rogue traders have acknowledged the exceptional performance of this vessel, and with a few minor updates, the flagship has continued to faithfully serve the Von Valencius dynasty. The Cronus Expanse is a scattered, poorly explored region on the frontier of the Imperium, full of fearsome Xenos, treasure heathen worlds, and the echoes of ancient doom. This is the one thing that I don't think many people realize. Rogue traders, this whole concept of a rogue trader, you're playing Star Trek in grim, dark, sort of high, mega, super fantasy Warhammer universe. That, dude, what more do you want? Like, when I realized that that's what Rogue Trader was, and there's a CRPG in this, like one of my favorite genres of games of all time, I could not believe that this game had slipped under my radar and that I didn't give it the time of day that it deserves. So I'm super, super excited, guys. Let's go. And there he is. There's our boy, No, that's not his name. Our name is Voidicus. Voidicus of the Imperium. We could do Voidicus Hamertius Timothy, but that might be a bit wordy. Voidicus Hamertius Timothy, because it's Voidhammer time. Voidicus Hamertius Timothy. I think that's our name. That's so silly. I love it. Okay. Medicaid 35. Maybe we can fix it along the way. Coercion 55. Is that our hard? Okay, so we're going to be doing some coercinating. We're going to coerce the crap out of some people. This skill is affected by the Federal. It represents a character's talent to manipulate other people through intimidation and reach their desired goals by threats and pressure. Awesome. We're just going to bully our way through the Coronis Expanse. Regimental tactics. Okay, I think that is it. Without further ado, let's begin. I wonder who that statue is of. Genuinely. I'm genuinely curious. Who is that supposed to represent? It's not the God Emperor. Oh, do you know, I think that statue represents a slave from a forge world, and he was the only slave and half servitor to rise and rebel against the Adeptus Mechanicus on Mars. And in some weird backwards way, they worship him now. He's like, he gets his own... that's not who that is. I don't know who that is.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity. Okay, I'm gonna keep these tutorials active because I'm fairly not a fan with all the game systems. You're in a dialogue. Here you can learn more about current events, influence the character you're speaking to, or even alter course of the game's narrative. Okay, so that's just, that's how games work, right? And this is, I believe, a leftover of the fact that the game originally never had voice acting. I think they've slowly added more and more voice lines as time has gone on, so it's kind of annoying. You'll kind of be paying attention to what he's saying, but then there's like, a sentence or a paragraph or whatever describing what's happening, and you can't really read it because he's narrating it, right? I think Pillars of Eternity 1 suffered from the same problem, but it is what it is. The man who has approached you is gazing down into the depths of the vast temple on one of the lower decks. Wow, okay, so this is like the main temple room of the ship, I believe. The God Emperor, we all know the God Emperor of mankind. The guide, the ruler, the higher power to which humanity offers their prayers for aid and deliverance. Most would be driven mad with despair if they knew the truth. The truth being that he's actually a woman. No. The truth being that I think the truth that they're referring to here is the fact that he's like half dead. He's like a skeleton. He was killed by Horus, or like mortally wounded by Horus, which I don't think is public knowledge amongst the Imperium. There's our guy. Look at this guy. Man, he's so sick. Okay. Truly an awe-inspiring sight. I mean, it is, right? It really is an awe-inspiring sight.
That is the purpose of all temples to the God Emperor, to inspire awe and reverence. For it is the duty of his servants to persevere in their tireless service until they are presented with the chance to give their very life for the master of humanity.
The man nods in satisfaction as if your words have confirmed some thought he had. Okay. He sighs and turns to you. So he's probably just thinking like, just another dogmatic follower of the Emperor.
Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencias. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
Voigtveer bows his head and focuses his attention on you. Hyperlinks. You can hover over hyperlinks to read. Cool. When the first words are highlighted when they first appear in the text. Scroll up the dialog boxes. Okay, cool, that's fine. My name is Voidicus Hermertius Timothy. Lieutenant General Voidicus Hermertius Timothy, Scipio Grimold, commander of the 8th Army of the Scanthian Janissaries. I have no intention of introducing myself. Number 2. We're a vocal man.
My regards, Lieutenant General. The
Yeah,
Astra
straight.
Militarum is the hammer of the God Emperor, isn't that what they say? Well, it is likely that fate will give you ample opportunity to demonstrate your talents as a commander.
Voidfear smiles faintly, but you are not sure it is directed at you. Who else would he be smiling at? Astra Militarum, the primary combat force and first line of defense of the Imperium, also known as the Imperial Guard. Yeah, so this is like the untold trillions or billions of soldiers who fight. They're just, they're just the guys, normal standard humans who fight in this horrible, grim, dark universe. Lovely. Everybody loves the Imperial Guard.
I will be frank with you. You may forget your past titles, no matter who gave them to you, or what their origins are. From the moment you and the other candidate were brought aboard this void ship, your fate changed. You now serve Lord Captain Theodora von Valencias, and carry the burden of an heir of this house. Henceforth, you share your dynastic name with Her Ladyship. Bear it with honor.
Bear it with honor. Yeah. Lord Captain, a strange title for the Lady Theodora. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here? You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities? Lord Captain, a strange title for the Lady Theodora.
Such are the traditions of the Imperium. Lord Captain is the title that was established in the annals of the Lex Imperialis, at the time when the first rogue traders entered the God Emperor's service, and therefore, it is sacrosanct.
Lex Imperialis. Yeah, so they're like the police force, I think. In the Imperial Galaxy spanning interstellar human empire ruled by the living god who is known as the Emperor of Mankind. Oh yeah, we're going to cut to the chase here. Why am I aboard this vessel? You have a curious title. Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities?
To put it plainly, I am the head of the network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House von Valencias. I uncover weak links both among Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate our vulnerabilities and exploit those of others.
Yes, he's like the spy guy. He's the Rogue Traders MI6, MI5, who knows. You say I'm one of the Rogue Traders' heirs, so there's another candidate. I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it. Tell me about the one whose ship I found myself on.
I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back, especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Suffice it to say that her ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask that you do not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities.
Okay. Warrant of Trade. The sacred relic document that affirms the preeminent rights of a rogue trader throughout the galaxy. Okay, so that's like your stamp of I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do and I don't have to, you know, go and be a serf somewhere. You say I'm one of the rogue trader's heirs, so there's another candidate.
There is. And you will meet him soon enough.
We will meet him soon enough. Why am I about this vessel? Why have I been brought here?
So that you may fulfill your blood duty. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the rogue trader, indeed blessed by the God Emperor.
I mean, I think the average person in the Warhammer universe would be like, cool, I volunteer as tribute, like I'm done. Sign me up.
I see that you are shocked. Yes, you understood correctly. Lady Theodora's authority indeed supersedes that of those whom you obeyed before. The Lord Captain's power is so great that she is capable of performing unthinkable feats, such as changing the fate of a servant of the Imperium. Your fate.
Cool. I assume you had some gold in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it.
But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far.
Interesting.
The Lord Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Yes, let us join them there. New quest, by the right of blood. Rogue trader Theodora von Valencius desires to personally meet by the right of blood. Follow Kunrad to journal. Movement. Move your character by clicking the cats. Fine. Rogue trader Valencius desires to personally meet with the person recently brought aboard her flagship. A storm is brewing over the dynasty, so the Lord Captain has something important to share with her heir, if she ever gets the chance. Wow, foreshadowing much. Kunrad Voitvia, the Master of Whispers, serving the von Valencius dynasty, has graciously offered to escort the dynasty heir to Lord Captain Theodora. Let's go. Contracts and rumors. Okay, so that's probably unlocks later. Let's have a look here. I love this. So for those of you who don't know, you can double click your portrait and enter follow mode, which is cool. One thing that I'm kind of sad that the 1.5 did not fix is the movement can be a little bit weird. Oh, do you know what we forgot to do? We didn't set our appearance. I know you can change your color somewhere. Is it this? There we go. I want it to be like that. Yeah, that's cool. And then I'm gonna quickly enable redress and get my hat. There we go. We have our epic hat now. For those of you interested in doing this kind of thing, it's the redress mod on Nexus Mods. It's kind of buggy. It's a bit weird. If there's enough interest, if people want to see how it works, I will happily demonstrate. It's a little bit outdated now as well, so it's not working 100% with patch 1.5, but I really wanted this, this sort of piratey, navally type hat. I just think it fits the character. It looks sick as hell, and it wraps this character up in a great way. Let us continue. Interactable objects. Some objects in the game can be interacted with in a special way. They are marked with specific icons. Some icons allow you to study objects, while others will transfer the character to neighboring locations or launch a small event. These icons become visible when your character is standing close enough to the interactive object. Click left mouse on the icon to perform the associated action. Some interactive objects such as doors, chests, are not always marked with icons, but the cursor changes when you hover over them. Interesting. Hover your cursor over the object. If the cursor changes, the object is interactable. Hold tab to highlight. Cool. Okay, Voidicus Hermercius Timothy. I wonder if we can change that name's really long. I
Always
just would be
keep your
annoying.
eye on the prize.
But it is what it is. So, like that. A massive conference table, obviously crafted from real wood. A resource of incredible value. I know we can see dialogues down here. A resource of incredible value aboard a void ship. Who's this guy? Have you heard? Apparently the lower decks got a big influx of new blood after the last on-world resupply. Is there some pestilence spreading through the crew and that's why we had to make up the shortfall? Last time it was blue leprosy that culled our ranks. How long does this stay for? That's pretty cool. Blue leprosy, I wonder what that is.
Is there money to be made?
Show the data on the vid screen. Show the data on the vid
I
screen.
have a nose for profit and the taste for adventure.
This is an engine seer. They are from the Adeptus Mechanicus. A tech litany for machine placidity is required. Vox casting to initiate the consecration of unguents. Unguents? What is unguents? A soft, greasy, or viscous substance used as ointment or for lubrication. Initiate the consecration of unguents and the preparation of technomats. A technomat is a mattress that the Adeptus Mechanicus used to sleep on. I'm a lore guy, guys, trust me. The sacred mechanism has been interfered with without due reverence. The duration of the data processing cycle has tripled. We just gave this guy a... He was busy copying some files and we rediverted the RAM somewhere else. An incomprehensible information is displayed on a large screen above the cogitators. You can make out references to unfamiliar systems and worlds among the numbers and logisticar symbols.
I always have a backup plan.
Show data on the vid screen. Lay people interfering in the operation of the sacred mechanisms disturbs the machine spirits. In the name of the Omnisire, refrain from any further profane acts. Okie dokie. My bad. Lay people interfering with the operation of the sacred mechanisms. Okay, we're good. Is there anything we can loot here? Deck Enforcer. If I see you raise your head again, I'll hand you over to the tech priests for servitorization. I think servitorization is to turn someone into a servitor, which is like a living computer. Often thought of as a fate worse than death. The crew member is hard at work, bowing his head in fear of being looked at or something. Another technomat. Praise be to the machine
Rise
god.
to the top, or get left in
Greetings,
the dust.
my lord. It would be very cool if they had little, you know, like in Baldur's Gate 1, when you clicked on somebody, they'd have like a little one-liner, right? Just to, a little bit more like, you know, immersion. I heard the Seneschal gave the senior officers another public dressing down recently. I don't know what it was for this time, but Wassarian would latch onto any slip-up as an excuse to give someone an earful. I guess it's just... I wonder where they get this new blood from that they're referring to. Because I know, you know, that warp jump was surprisingly uneventful. The one a couple of cycles ago now. That was tough. The delirium took hold of so many and the witch was up to her old tricks again.
Keep your wits about you.
You hear the stuttering words of a prayer to the God Emperor. Noble guest. May his will strengthen my heart. May my humble deeds be for the benefit of humanity. A candlelit altar with a copy of the 2348th volume of the Lex Imperialis. The Codex of the Sacred Laws of the Imperium. Okay, just got to get used to all of this stuff again. How long do we have to wait for an audience? How many days has it been already? How long do we have to wait for an audience? How many days has it been already? Yeah, they could have, you know, diversified the responses here. Anyway, let's continue. There's a servitor. As you approach, something in the servitor's body begins to hum as if in response to your presence. After a couple of seconds, the noise subsides.
Is there money to be made?
Okie dokie, let's do it.
One of the Fon Valencia's trophy rooms. Perhaps you would like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain.
I love the look of these servitors. They look so cool. The game's got a very, like, for some reason it reminds me of, like, Final Fantasy, like an old Final Fantasy game. I don't know why. That's just the vibe I get. You have been ambushed. The battle begins. Start the battle. Okay. Can we combat log? Is this all? Okay, there we go. One shot. Crew officer dies. Uses servitor pincers. I love role-playing games. Okay, so joint analysis effect applied. I remember some of these things. Okay, we can. Regimental tactics. 1 round. The Astronaut commander and their allies do not suffer damage from allied attacks. Okay, so that's like go ahead and do all the AoE you want. Your party's going to be safe and deal 30% more damage to enemies that were attacked by them since ability activation. Is that by me? Okay.
Who if not me?
So we do that. We give it to everybody. And then we attack that and everybody gets 30% damage bonus. I think that's how I'm understanding this. And if I remember correctly, you click. Then it gives you the option to shoot. So you go there and then like that.
I'll see to it personally.
5 damage. Our first damage roll ever. Deals 5% damage. Okay. Can we... There we go. What did we roll? This is the most complicated tooltip I've ever looked at in my life. Voidicus Hermetius Timothy deals 5 piercing damage to malfunctioning servitor. Hit roll was... Oh, so you've got to roll less than 85? I think you roll like a D100. And if you get less than 85, you deal damage. So we rolled a 30. It's important to take note of your character's very first roll ever. We rolled a 30. Go us. Again, I think that's it. Voice of command, the officer forces an ally to push them. Yeah, okay, so this is the one that gives them some flat stats. I think we give this to this guy. No, cannot give it to that guy.
It's as good as done.
So we're like a buffer, right? A Buffy McBufferton. And I think we're done.
Duty prevails.
So yes, I absolutely looked at the controls and stuff and tried a bit of the game just to make sure that this would go nicely. I've made Alt-X the ability to hide the UI every now and then, which I think is very cool, especially for this playthrough. But for some reason, it goes to like 9 states. So it's kind of a pain to enable and disable. It could just be toggle on, toggle off. But they've made it like 9 layers of UI, which is very weird. Okay, I think all we do now is shoot this guy. Nice. We rolled a 58. Go us. And I think that's all we can do. Or can we buff another person? Shift 2.
On it.
Hit him. There we go. Okay. Well, yeah, okay. I mean, this is like a tutorial fight. I don't think he's gonna hurt. I don't think we're in any danger. Not very close though. 85% chance. Okay, so there's no negatives for being in range. You just like, oh, you've got a bow and arrow and somebody's like standing on top of you. So you get like a penalty. Maybe that's just it's a per mob thing. Servitor pincers. One other thing I really wish this had was just a little description of each thing that you can interact with, like, read a little bit of lore about the malfunction servitor. Unless it happens to be in the, I think there's an encyclopedia. What the hell is that? Corpus Valentius. The hell is this? Is this the encyclopedia? Dictionary. Servitor. Mindless cybernetic drones created from a fusion of human flesh and robotic technology used to carry out simple manual tasks. It would be so cool if they just added that flavor text, like, to this page here, right? Anyway, let's not overthink these things, and let's blast this guy.
Who, if not me?
Nice. 11 damage. Sick. Look at us. We rolled at 80. Wow, that could have missed that very easily. I want to learn this system. I think this is, it's so well laid out. Result critical hit, 11 damage. What caused the crit? So if you roll, do you roll 3 dice? I wonder how this works. You roll the hit, and you roll a whole nother dice to see if you crit. Is that how Pathfinder works? Interesting. So of every single roll, do you always roll a d10 to see if you crit? Excuse me. Okay, anyway. Can we buff this guy?
I won't compromise my principles.
Get him. Wow. Dead. I wonder what the skull with horns means. I can scarcely believe it on a day like this.
Suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
Did we ever define what a rogue trader is? A subject of the Imperium with a unique hereditary title, a rogue trader is tasked with exploring and exploiting the still uncharted regions of the galaxy for the benefit of mankind. Okay. Without taking his eyes off the bodies on the floor, Voitvia removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device. Then he turns to you. Voxcaster, this is like his iPhone, a piece of technology used to communicate over short distances or to record sound. Yeah. They could tidy up some of this
I'm afraid I must
Harvey.
remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
The lines on Voitvir's forehead soften and his voice regains its usual courtesy. The Master of Whispers gives you a curt bow. Yep, see ya. Okay, map. You can open the map by using M to orient yourself. There you go. We're in the upper decks. Zoom in. Trophy enemy. Okay, that's all very cool.
I
what's
always
next?
keep my options open.
Always keep your options open. I'm currently preoccupied with matters of our safety. You, on the other hand, have somewhere you need to be. The Lord Captain's expecting you. Do not try her patience. Okay, is there any loot though? These windows look into the next room, not outside the void ship. You cannot make out anything through the cloudy glass. They need to make those last longer. Only the weak light filtering through from that side. Enforcers. Your Lordship, do not worry. All threats have been eliminated. It is absolutely safe
I
here.
always have a backup plan.
Other thing I wish so much that they just had a walk feature. That would be so good. What's all this then? The wires in the servitor's head are still smoldering. It would seem the cause of its malfunction was the short-circuiting of the motive force. The motive force is, I believe the Adeptus Mechanicus believe in 3. It's like a grimdark version of Catholicism, I guess. The Omnisci, the Machine God, and the motive force. The motive force is like the Holy Spirit. It's basically electricity. Like, I don't know if I believe that their belief gives electricity more electrifying capabilities. I don't know. Tarantula sentry gun constructed with the blessing of the Adeptus Mechanicus using a standard template construct. In the manufactorums of Kiava Gamma.
Rise to the top.
Wonder how
or get
far away
left in
Kiava
the
Gamma
dust.
is. Man, guys, I love this. I'm like immersing myself in Warhammer right now. This is a cool tank. The Lehman Russ battle tank, reclaimed and restored by the grace of the God Emperor, the first to breach the capital walls during the pacification of Vortezston. Done. If you know how to pronounce that, let me know in the comments. What is this? A violet alloy, which upon closer examination turns out to be a handcrafted object. Symbols carved with a primitive tool are visible on the surface.
Always keep your eye on
So
the
these
prize.
are like heretic collectibles. Like, what is this? A black shard resembling obsidian. If you look closely, you can discern a strange, barely perceptible glow inside the artifact. A massive golden amalgam interspersed with sprinkling particles. The stone on the pedestal is no doubt solid, but its surface shimmers and changes hue as if someone has captured a piece of turbulent sea within the rock. How many rocks does this lady have? A strange object that resembles sea coral. The porous surface is pitted, a sign that it has been underwater.
Is there money to be made?
A grey-green crystal with white veins. A low hum can be heard coming from the artifact. Is this like a common thing in 40k? Rogue traders just collect rocks? They're minerals! They're minerals, Skyler! Fucking bitch! Whoa, where'd that come from? Okay, so, servant. The crew member is hard at work, bowing his head in fear and avoiding even looking at you. Yeah, that's the same tooltip. The exhibit is unfinished. Another symbol of House Valencius' valor will be displayed here at some point in the future. If I see you raise your head again, I'll hand you over to the tech priest for servitorization. No loots. We continue.
Let us not dawdle.
Okay, where to? The Grand Voidship Temple occupies the entire space below the officer's deck and is lit by countless candles and lumens. Epic. That looks like an Inquisitor hat. No. Same servitor tooltip. Again.
I always have a backup plan.
It's like the game just lacks that little bit of polish that would make it like S tier, has to be played. You know, it would be so much more popular, I think, if they could just elevate the polish. Or the engine or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Master at Arms. I am proud to see that I have raised a worthy successor. Do not hesitate to go hard on them, Jocasta. Jocasta Sourback. So from now on, any tinkering with the vacuum locks is to be carried out only in the presence of our esteemed tech priests. The serfs need to surf. What is this? The lifts carrying people around the decks move with a loud grinding noise. Sick. Guys, I hope you're enjoying the playthrough so far. I'm enjoying this so much. This is so much fun. Have you heard? Apparently the low decks... Oh, big influx of new blood. Where do they get the new blood from, though? I beg your pardon, your lordship, after the incident with the servitor. The passage is closed to everyone until the Arch Militant says otherwise. Who is the Arch Militant?
Keep your wits about you.
I see you raise your head again. I'll hand you over to the tech priest for servitorization. Is there any loot, though? That is the question. Oh. Trigger.
That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora.
Who is this man?
Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide. Practically an admission of heresy.
Says the man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted in a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. What the hell is sin skin? Like synthetic skin, most likely.
Then suggest an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation. No worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Ion 6, Edelthrad?
The tall, grey-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson. Very cool. So this is Theodora. Survey the room. I'm here to speak with Lord Captain. Listen in silence. Let's survey the room. Your first impression of Edelthrad, who appears to be about 30 years old, is of parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. What's wrong with this man? Is he a flippin' heretic? Augmentation, a mechanical or electronic cybernetic substitute for biological limbs or organs. Yeah, we're not anti-augmentation. We appreciate the Adeptus Mechanicus and the gifts they provide from the machine god. In stark contrast to Adelthrud, Theodora von Valencius's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible, head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Adelthrud. Next to the two of them, you see two more men. One is a grey-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth, bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manner of weapons. What's a baldric? A belt for a sword or other piece of equipment worn over the shoulder and reaching down to the opposite hip. Okay, so it's like a long sheath type thing. Data slate, an electronic digital storage device similar to a tablet computer. So it's like their USB or, more
Our
iPhone
second
stuff.
candidate has joined us. Approach and give me your answer.
The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force you to look at Theodora. I wonder if she's using... So I've read a little bit of Eisenhorn, and, people with psychic powers, or, psychers, they can influence people, kind of like the Force. I wonder if she's using a bit of that right now. The rogue trader is looking straight at you. Her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive.
Consider this hypothetical situation. Ion 6. A new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say, but attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crew sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poisoned treasure?
What would we do? Passive skill test. Your character's skills reflect their knowledge and capabilities. Some dialogues automatically initiate passive skill tests. If such a test succeeds, new information will be revealed or a hidden dialogue option will unlock. If your character is traveling with allies, the party member with the highest score in the applicable skill. Okay, cool. That's just all very automatic. We passed a warp and a Xenos check. Those spirits could well be the native's name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if that is indeed the case, and if the population of Iron 6 engages in Xeno worship. This world is so cool. There are ways to confirm whether what is happening on Iron 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us the answer. I've retained some connection with the Astra Militarum. A few Imperial Guard regiments would take care of the natives. Their spirits and their magma, solid fortifications, have never let me down. Okay, I think we're just going to go with the Xenos with a warp explanation. The spirits could be dangerous aliens, or it could be more like heresy or psycho related. I say we find out if there are ways to confirm whether what was happening on Iron 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us the answer. Brutal.
Thorough, but presumptuous. It took me a great deal to find one psyker who could serve me well for many years. Yet you speak of several.
Well, I come from the Astra Militarum. We obviously have exceptional amounts of resources to just throw psychers at. No, I don't know this. I don't know these things. She smirks. A psyker. An individual of any intelligent species who possesses some degree of psychic ability or powers.
Sanctioned psychers are rare and valuable instruments of the Golden Throne. Or do you suggest that we use heretics, who are an offense to the God Emperor's light? It would be rather careless of you to utter such profanity in the presence of his faithful servants.
Wow. I was just trying to help, guys. Adelthrud looks at you with the warmth of a snake. Excuse me. The Golden Throne, an arcane cybernetic artifact that encases the God Emperor's physical remains entire and preserves them using stasis fields and psi-fusion reactors. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Edelthrad. We are both servants of the God Emperor and Lady Theodora. Does it become anyone of our status to engage in petty feuds? I find your tone most disagreeable, Edelthrad. You will kindly alter the manner of which you address me, or else you will live to regret the consequences. I gave a straight answer.
Insolent, ignorant upstart. How dare you?
The color drains from Edelthrad's face, which distorts his features further.
Edelthrad, I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officer's deck, instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview.
Theodora's tone renders him silent.
I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time.
Edelthrad bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing you another look.
So, why are you here?
I feel like your companion just accused me of heresy, and I don't quite appreciate it very much. Theodora's gaze follows him as he leaves. She turns to you. There are questions that I wish to have answered.
You are direct. I approve.
Yes.
But you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first. My name is Theodora von Valancius Massimo of Scaris. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity. And my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic. The warrant of trade, kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness, beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign, and bow death and ruin to us all.
Sign me up.
It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to find thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you are one of those with von Valancius blood in their veins and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes.
And you, Voidicus Hermertius Timothy, are one of those. Yeah, dude, I mean, it's Warhammer, man. It cranks everything up to 1 million. It's like, you're not just, like a rogue trader is not just the ship and the person. It's the entire protectorate, the entire sector of space. With all the populations of all the planets in that sector, it's on such a massive scale. I'm ready to take on this sacred purpose. It's all too sudden for me. One of, does this mean there are other heirs?
Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Edelthrad may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. If not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Alas, even those responsibilities can at times be too challenging for those who share your blood. Kunrad Voitvir served me for many years before he made his mistake.
But am I missing something here? Blood right alone is not enough to earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful. So does she just like send out the call to the Empire and say, yo, send me all my heirs because I might need them? Like, is that the power of blood? Is the Empire not a meritocracy? It's like, I could be a complete useless individual. Would she still seek me out? Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. If you're satisfied with Edelthrad, then what sense is there having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me?
Impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Edelthrad as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here, in the Coronis expanse.
So does she not, like, is she having like a sense of impending doom? Is she like preparing to choose a successor? For what reason? Like, why is she convinced that she's going to be out of the picture?
Service in the Astra Militarum is a trial from which very few people emerge with their life. That you have risen through the ranks of the Imperial Guard and assumed command of an army is a testament to your astuteness, both on the battlefield and in the tangled net of officer intrigues. I assure you, the company that a rogue trader keeps will offer you plenty of chances to demonstrate both your diplomatic skills and your combat prowess.
Okay, so she seeks out heirs who are worthy. Okay.
Moreover, your remarkable mental abilities were noted in your profile. If you can find a way to exhibit them in the service of the von Valancius dynasty, well, so much the better.
Decision consequences. Your outstanding intellect is known beyond the bounds of your home system. Okay, so she wanted me because I'm super duper smart, right? Which is, I mean, that's just like in real life. Is that because I have intelligence of like 40? Well, I don't remember making this decision. Okay, that's cool. Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you.
His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valancius, even if he avoids using it publicly and,
as do I,
as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, however, is closed to him. Voigtvir's performance in his current role is satisfactory. Or it used to be, at least.
So she doesn't sound... This is the second time she slighted him. She's not happy with Voigtvir's performance. Thank you for clarifying. I ask my questions now.
I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge.
The vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all you can hear is unintelligible noise. Theodora winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives you an imperious nod. I have... whoopsie. A navigator. Navigator is a... I think there are people who chill on the void ships and help them transfer through the immaterium. A sanctioned noble mutant, whose genes allow them to safely guide a warp-capable void ship through the warp. So that's very Dune. Like this whole concept of like the way you travel through the warp in this. In the Dune universe, they need like spiced up people who are no longer human to perceive, you know, the insane mathematical prescience that it requires to plot a ship through space at those speeds or whatever, or like through the I think it's like the I can't remember the name, like the warp holes, or however they do like interstellar travel in Dune. And this is a very similar concept, right? I know Dune doesn't have the warp, but they've got these navigators that help maintain and produce these Geller fields so that the ships can transfer through the warp, which is, you know, the immaterium, the Imperium, hell, essentially, where the demons come from. An alternate dimension of pure energy and madness existing as a mirror to real space, also known as the Immaterium, the Imperium, the Ether, the Sea of Souls, or Warp Space. Man, we're on our way to becoming the most epic lore master that has ever lore mastered. Navigator translation, what are these things that you speak of? I would know that.
Sometimes I forget that people without direct access to a ship's bridge may not know the first thing about how a void ship travels between the stars.
I'm presenting myself as a fool.
Vessels such as this one are capable of leaving real space and traversing into the warp, an otherworldly dimension of cruel and unthinkable forces. By entering it under the protection of the Geller field, we shorten the route to our destination, crossing distances that would require hundreds of years in a matter of weeks instead, sometimes in days or even hours. That is how humanity spread across the galaxy. That is how we were able to build the Imperium, which spans millions of stars.
Thank you for that exposition. An incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew. Where is your ship headed?
The Owlcat system, the domain of rogue trader Winterscale, one of my peers and rivals. Besides me, 2 other rogue traders exist in the Coronis Expanse, and each of them possesses resources comparable to mine. Perhaps you will one day assist House von Valancius in surpassing both of them in affluence and splendor.
Yeah, so there's competition throughout the Coronis Expanse.
I set the course for Rykad on the demand for a very specific reason. Perhaps I shall yet apprise you of the purpose for this voyage, but now is not the time.
Theodora grimaces. She gives you a stern look, then shrugs. What are my current responsibilities?
Observe, learn, absorb. It will take time for you to find your bearings aboard this vessel and in your new position. Eventually, I will find a post that suits you as I did for Ethelthrad. Until that time comes, consider yourself my aide.
Cool, I'm your aide. Gracious Lord Captain, surely there are ways I can prove myself a worthy heir. That sounds a little bit too grovelly. I have no more questions. An incident took place on the officer's deck.
Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Gellerfield. Or perhaps there is something to all the stories about the ship being possessed after all.
Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread about by uneducated riffraff.
Uneducated riffraff. Abelard. This is the guy. He's quite... Like, whenever they do the patches, they're like, Abelard, do the thing. Announce me, Abelard. He's like, I don't know, I think he's quite a popular companion.
Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen advisors. This ship is ancient. It has enough hidden nooks, malfunctioning cogitators, and unused compartments to make ignorant folks speak of specters dwelling inside the bulkheads and plotting against those who yet live.
Cogitator. Any type of digital computer in the Imperium of Man. Okay. She turns to you. I have no more questions.
In that case, I shall head to... Disturbances reported on the adjacent decks. Seneschal, if the need arises, protect the new blood. It is possible that the chance to prove your worth may present itself sooner than you may have anticipated.
Theodora's Vox awakens once more. This time you pick up shouting. The Lord Captain freezes, listening to the Voxcast, then nods and draws her weapon. That was the ugliest heretic I've ever seen in my life.
Your arrogance will be your downfall.
Oh yeah. Again, this is like a very tutorial-y battle. You've got all these like mega heroes here.
Emperor, protect me! That's gotta hurt.
Tried and tested tactics are the best ones.
Weapon at the ready. To the heretic.
Sheesh.
My ears are ringing.
I serve the ruined palace.
Okay. So yeah, basically what I've done is I've turned off the camera that like swaps and changes and goes crazy, so I can control it myself and just try and make things as cinematic as I possibly can for all the handsome viewers. Guys, again, I hope you're enjoying this playthrough so far. I'm having an absolute blast. This is so sick. And we're going to give some regimental tactics to all our buddies. Very cool. And can we use this on anybody? They're not in our party, so I guess not. And we can go for a 74%, 74%, 27. Just go for that guy.
Make it happen. You never stood a
What?
chance.
Dude, what kind of, damn. We kind of got our shit together, right?
Chaos guides me. Out of my way.
Pain and duty go hand in hand.
Last dodge.
Follow
What?
my lead.
Plasma overcharge.
Stay vigilant. Die.
I know we've got to keep an eye on our wounds and stuff. I'll explain later. Your character has received a temporary positive effect from an ally. Such effects enhance your character's capabilities. Learn more about the effects. You have to gain of your curse. Okay, so what did we get? We got... kill them! Theodora, kill them. Source, Theodora, duration, permanent. 50 ballistic skill until the end of combat. Dude, let's go shoot something. Why is he so hard to hit? 27% chance to hit. Is it because of his cover? Damage over time, allied effects, enemy effects, deflection, armor, 52% movement points. Where do we see his state of cover? Interesting. Can't. Can we get closer? Or do we go over here? I think we go over here and we try and get a 95%. Let's go. 10 damage. Oh, okay, it was actually quite a lot. Nice. We can't do anything to him. Done. He shot me. That's not cricket. Plasma overcharge. She's just nuking everybody. I want a plasma gun.
I took care of this one.
Done. Go team. Oh, I can't wait to get loot.
Mort, take a team with you and clear a path to the transport line. Do not let a single whoreson survive.
Whoreson? Wow. Mort. Is that a reference to Planescape Torment? Wasn't Mort the name of the floating skull? Theodora waves her hand in a commanding gesture.
Didn't bat an eye when that scum burst onto the deck, huh? Not bad. I have seen many an officer who panicked at the sight of combat on the upper decks. The false sense of security offered by their position makes them that much more vulnerable to the harsh realities of warp travel.
She looks at the Vox in her hand. All you can hear is lifeless static. What are your orders?
Mort has gone on ahead to clear a path for us. If you want to make yourself useful, go after him and see if the Arch-Militant requires aid. And be quick about it.
She breaks eye contact with you. Alright, I think I'm gonna put a pin in this video here. I've had a timer going. We've been going for about an hour and a half. I'm gonna continue playing this right away. I'm just gonna break for the recording right here. Before we do that, I've noticed we have a fresh injury. And I know, on unfair difficulty, this could be a problem. It could become an old injury. How do we fix this? My goodness, we're going to suffer. Okay, I'll catch you guys again in the next one. Hope you're enjoying the playthrough. I'm having a hell of a blast. This is so sick. Can't wait to get further in the game. As I've said before, I've never gotten through the prologue, this beginning sort of tutorial area, and I cannot wait to move forward.